All right. Today I'm here to represent, or not even just to represent. Today I'm here because I am sick and tired of this narrative, right? The narrative of black women want to be like Europeans because they wear weaves, and black women want to do this because people do that. And black women want to wear their hair like this because of this, and black women want to wear their hair because of that, and black people and black women and this and that and that and that and this. And it's always by black Aboriginal men. It's getting, not is it getting annoying, but it's alarming. It's alarming because as a man, why are you in women's business? See, every day every day I get the opportunity to talk to my mom or be around my dad, right? And, when women have women conversations, you know what I see my dad do? My dad, if he's in the room, he exits the room. That's if we're on the phone or in person, he exits the room, right? He's never engaged in women's business. I think that's my problem that I have with men or seeking a man, is that you men are feminized and don't realize that you're feminized. You feel comfortable to speak on women's business at any given second. You guys have podcasts. You guys set up a podcast mic to talk about women's business. It's crazy. So I'm here as a person with, as you see, because I'm going to finish my hair, someone who has a natural crown, right? Locks. Someone who has always embraced my culture and the hair of my culture, right? So I feel like I am the right messenger for this because I'm someone who doesn't wear weaves, doesn't dye my hair blonde, doesn't do any of those things that you guys call Eurocentric. So yes, I feel like I am the right person to have this conversation. My thing is, do I feel like we should embrace our natural hair? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I know that we once did embrace our natural crowns? Yes. So with every problem, there is a root of that problem, right? There is some history behind that problem, right? When we talk about indoctrination, when we talk about products of our environment, when we talk about drug addiction, right? There are roots to those problems. And typically the root to that problem is what? Government, right? So when it comes to this crown situation that you guys are so obsessed with, black women wearing weaves, then you guys talk about the weaves coming from Caucasians. The weaves don't come from Caucasians. They don't even come to look like Caucasians. Here, period. I can guarantee you that no black woman is sitting up there looking at Rebecca or whoever and saying, I want my hair like Lindsay. Look at Lindsay's beautiful crown, beautiful blonde crown. Her hair is shaggy and stringy. I want hair like that. No. What I will tell you, as somebody who has, had braids, who typically had braids growing up, other, black hairstyles, is that I also had a problem maintaining my hair. One thing, as far as maintenance, is sometimes you just want to get up and go. Sometimes you just want to get up and go. I'm a basketball player, right? So and I sweat profusely. So it's kind of hard to hoop with your natural hair, to be honest with you. Like in a fro or whatever you guys are claiming that you guys want black women to do, right? These claims, these bold claims, right? These are bold claims. I'm gonna get into why they're bold claims. Uh, it's just not easy. Not only is it not easy, but when we talk about the beauty standard, right? You guys have consistently, and I don't like to do the black men, black women thing, but you guys have consistently disrespected black women, right? And up until lately, all of a sudden, you want all the black women to wear the natural hair. Where was this in the early 2000s? Where was this in the middle 2000s? Right? We get to the 2020s. Now all of a sudden, black women need to wear their hair natural. Y'all wasn't saying that. Y'all was actually, just like y'all paying for the BBLs and all that, y'all was actually paying for black women to go get that 20 whatever inch bust down. I don't know how much the inch bust down is because I don't get the bust downs. Right? So 20 inches might not be long for y'all. I don't know how long the bust down is supposed to be. But y'all was, women, and women like to say they don't do things for men. And I don't necessarily agree with that. Right? I'm not going to say what people do things for because I'm not people. I don't like to, but it's like men do things to like impress women or other men or whatever. It seems like for the men it'd be other men, right? Because y'all want to compete with jewelry and all that stuff, right? To compete with men for women, maybe. I don't know why y'all do that either. But I believe that women do the same thing. It's the same way for women, right? They want to look good for y'all, and because y'all have vocalized that what looking good is, and your standard used to be Europeanism, right? Or exotic or ambiguous or whatever the hell. That's what women start doing. Now all of a sudden, y'all trying to go back. Y'all trying to go back to the 70s, the early 80s. Now y'all trying to go back, which is great. But let's not act like y'all wasn't the reason why. And it's not just y'all, because we're going to get into that too. But when it comes to culturally, y'all wasn't sitting here telling women in the early 2000s, in the mid 2000s, baby, go ahead and I like you with that fro. No. Y'all would be at the school in the middle of the roast session talking about black women and black this and you look like this and talking to, practicing European beauty standards. Right? And I just say European because, I won't just say it's European though, because let's say like Latina, let's say all of that, right? Ambiguous, whatever you want to call it. Culturally not yours, right? That's what y'all was saying that y'all like. That's what y'all want, right? So it was what it was. But let's go further than that. Let's go to the root of that, because we all know, at least I do, that a lot of my people suffer from a mental situation. And I think that we are the most powerful, most influential, most cultured people who have been oppressed, who have overcome. Like, we have a rich history. And I don't like when people act like we don't have a rich history, right? But when it comes to having to conform, right? Slavery was a choice. Having to conform, we have conformed to certain standards, right? So let's get into this crown situation. William, the root of it. Black people used to wear their fros. Black women, like I go on my mama and daddy yearbooks. Everybody had a fro. So this is a fairly new situation. This is not, the origin of our people. But when we get into the roots, we go into the Tenjin. I just learned about the Tenjin Act, right? Should I pull that up for you? Let me pull that up for you. A Tenjin was a hair wrap that they forced black women in Louisiana to wear because white people were uncomfortable with black women's self-expression. So they then made them wrap their hairs, right? Their crown. And I just learned about this. It's the Tenjin Law, right? It happened in Louisiana. The Tenjin Law was a law passed in 1786 that required black women in New Orleans to wear a headscarf called a tenjin. The law was intended to control black women's dress and suppress their self-expression. Right? So, we go back to the system, like I said, and how the system has been used to control us for many, many years. That was in what, 1786, I said? So, we could fast forward, right? We could fast forward to recent years. I said in, the 80s, 70s, 80s, etc., 60s, black people used to wear their hair in their froze in their natural states. All right? But then you go into recent history and see how in the job force, right, in the workforce, when integration happened, it was, because we started with we got the waves going. It wasn't just, the froze. We had the waves, the froze, the locks, the this, the that. And you know what other people seen it as the system seen it as? They seen it as unprofessional. Your hair looks unprofessional, right? So in order to, and they would fire people. So in order to thrive in your community, you had to conform, which means that if my fro is unprofessional, what type of hairstyle is professional? What type of natural black hairstyle would have been professional? If my braids is unprofessional, then what type of natural black hairstyle is professional? If my locks is unprofessional, then what type of hairstyle is professional? So you know what people were forced to do? The women was forced to get weaves. And the men was first forced to get, little fades. But what you guys don't understand with men, y'all can walk around with your hair like today, right? You can walk around just like you guys do with your hair just, nothing. It just freeforms, whatever. It just grows however it grows. And some of y'all get lineups, some of y'all don't. But it's beautiful. I love it. I love y'all hair. Some people don't. They, older people, they definitely are like, that's, they're in that system. The systemic, what's the word? The systemic, European standards, right? The beauty standards, right? Of you got to have something fresh, right? Fresh lineup, fresh something to make it look, presentable, as they would say. To me, I just like it. It is what it is. It's self-expression to me. Like, I love art. Because I love art, I look at hair like art, especially our hair. Our hair is literally art. Everybody's hair is different. It could go this way, that way, that way. Right? Our hair is life. It's like plants. It's life. It goes up towards the earth. Right? It grows upward towards the sun, towards the heavens. While everybody else is here, you already know. If you know, you know. Anywho, not everybody else is here. I don't want to say everybody, because not everybody. Some people have, it is what it is. I'm not even gonna get into that. But the point is, men don't have, there's no standard for your hair today. You can do whatever. If a woman walks around, like me, if I walk around and my locks ain't done, I look like crap. I feel like crap. As my hair grows, it's gonna be a different story. But just because of your standards, right? Just because of society, right? You have to feel like this, that, and the third as a black woman. So at what point do you men start uplifting your women? At what point do you stop comparing us to other women? You say you want us to do this, that, and the third, and I'm not speaking for all black men, because there's some real men out here, some real aboriginal about they people men. But the ones behind that mic, most of the ones behind the mic, because like I said, I do understand. I do and I don't understand, right? I can understand both sides. But that's why it's important to give the history, right? Of how people were getting fired and expelled from school, right? You can look up many stories where little boys was being expelled for school for having their locks. Cut your locks or be expelled. Cut your locks or be fired. So that's systemic, correct? So at what point do you stop blaming black women for adopting this beauty standard to keep their job? Because in order to provide for their households, some of them have single parent households or whatever the case may be. How do you expect them to do that if they don't conform? Right? And that goes back to, some people will say slavery is a choice. But also, I decided to bring people into this world, so I got to provide for them until I figure out a way to escape society. It wasn't until recently, I believe they first tried to introduce it in 2019, maybe, but it didn't start getting passed until 2021. The Crown Act, and I'm going to put the information up there. And the Crown Act prohibited jobs, workplaces, from discriminating against people because of their hair. Because often, in history, our people are targeted, right? Oppressed, suppressed, etc. because of our greatness. And then we are our own worst enemy by echoing the ignorance and blasphemy of the system, your enemy. So at what point, and to me it's irresponsible to not use your common sense, because I understand that common sense is not common. It's irresponsible to me to continue to repeat lies and propaganda, right? That the perpetual cycle of keeping you against your people because you're not educated enough or educated enough to educate yourself, right? On the root cause of everything that you say that is against your people. I always think to myself, there's an issue. Let me go to the root of that, what that issue would be. If there is a issue, let me go to the why. In high school, we learn the how, what, when, why, where. That's what I ask myself. I've taken that. I've taken that from high school and applied it to life. Oh, why did black people adopt what you guys would call European beauty standards? Well, what caused them to do that? That's what I ask myself. What's the what? What's the why? What's the how? What's the when? What's the where? Louisiana, Tianjin. Right? That's what you guys need to start doing instead of getting your stupid, funky mouths up on the internet with your podcast with nothing else to talk about and talking about what black people do, black women, black women. How about you start uplifting black women? Right? You don't accelerate a people by dogging them out, especially when that's your people. Right? And one thing I find myself often doing is, black women have saved this country and saved the world in general. Many, many years. People always be like, how? Do you not know your history? Have you not heard of Harriet Tubman? Have you not heard of the Black Panthers? And how 70% of them were women? Have you not heard of Henrietta Lacks? Have you not heard of Madam C.J. Walker? I mean, the list goes on. The list goes on. Have you not heard of, I'm not even going to name everybody. Because then y'all get to try to pull, little intangibles to disrespecting people. Little discrepancies to disrespecting people. So we're not going to get into that. All I want you guys to do is start uplifting your people. We don't get anywhere as a people. I think that y'all agents. I start to think that y'all agents when y'all sit here and just get on the internet and talk about divide the community. All right? And do I feel like we should embrace our natural crowns? Yes. But I feel like that starts, and you guys got to understand what a protective style means. Right? It doesn't mean that I don't love my hair. It just means that I don't want to sometimes damage my hair. I got locks, so, I don't want to damage my hair because combing my hair every day is damaging my hair. Putting heat to my hair is damaging my hair. All right? And sometimes a girl might wear her natural hair. And then she might say, okay, it's time to put that protective style in. Let my hair, get a little rest from all this combing and all this extra stuff that I'm doing to it. And let it rock. One thing about hair is it's an expression of, it can be an artistic expression, which means you can do anything with it. You feel me? Like, y'all be going up in there and getting beard enhancements and, fake waves and fake hairlines and, spray-ons and all this extra stuff. And then have the nerve to sit up and talk about and the problem is it'd be y'all who get these hair enhancements and all this extra stuff and then got the nerve to sit up and talk about black women's hair. Some of y'all don't even have no hair. And some of that might be genetics and some of that might be, I wore a hat my whole life. I used to work in a hat store, so I know how that works too. I don't know and I don't care. That's one thing about me is I don't care what you do with your hair. Do you, boo-boo? It's that easy. It's that easy to do you. So, all these standards, I think that in general, people just have women, men, etc. There's so many standards. We live in just a shallow society, a materialistic society where you got to have this amount of money. You got to have your hair got to look like this. Your teeth got to look like that. Like, it's really ridiculous. And then you guys fall in love with the physical or what a person could do for you. And then the person ends up being a shitty person. Some of you guys are marrying into a financial situation, right? A financial agreement instead of marrying a person because you love them unconditionally. Your love has conditions. Then you wonder why you end up miserable and divorced and single parents and all this other stuff. All right? It's time that we start rising up and start actually showing up for each other. And stop putting so much pressure on people. If you want somebody to do something or you think somebody looks good, they will look, encourage them. Embrace their natural beauty. All right? Don't put them down and belittle them. Do better as a people. So I'm just here today while I do my natural hair. Just love on my people. Love on your crown. Right? I don't do the blonde, the European, the this, the that, but I don't do that for men either. Y'all be walking around here with bleach blonde hair too. I always include y'all, even when y'all shouldn't be included. Even when it's a women's movement, I always make it a my people movement. I'm trying to uplift my people. But my people got to do better. My black men got to do better and stay out of women's business. My women got to do better and appreciate their man. Put forth real efforts instead of, the effort of his pocketbook. We all got roles. So if you want to play a gender role, then play the gender role. But that's a conversation for another day. Today we was here to talk about loving on our crowns, loving on our people, staying out of women's business, and stop judging the exterior of what somebody is and the interior, right? All right, so I feel like the messages are always on time, coincidentally or intentionally, don't know. But I happened to come back because as I was scrolling through some of y'all's favorite apps, I seen some news hit of this, black man who was assassinated by his Caucasian wife. And in the midst of, prior to his assassination, he was one who berated black women and even said he'd rather have intercourse with a white dog. Right? My thing is, I think a lot of people are not coming to the realization that I think some of y'all just don't prefer black women. Some of you black people just don't prefer black women. Right? And could it be, stemming from the plantation where you couldn't have them and now you want them? Or you just aren't practicing internalized racism, which I believe that's what it is. And my point in bringing it up is because you guys talk about black women wear black hair or this hair, that hair, etc. And like I said before, I think that you guys helped influence that beauty standard, right? But then don't want to take credit for influencing that beauty standard. I also think that is very interesting that I just flat out believe that some of y'all, like I said, y'all don't prefer black women. And I think that to me, We can call it what we want. Today is called a preference. I believe, like I said, it's internalized racism. Period. You guys talk about, Europeanism, but I believe that's what you're practicing. And instead of just coming to the realization that that's what this is, you would rather find a way to attack black women, Aboriginal copper colored women, for why you prefer the other people, right? And then you say it's the hair. Okay. I believe that that's a cop out. And you guys are you guys going to find any cop out on a reason that you are not going to procreate with your own people, right? First it was the hair too nappy, the hair untamed. Then you influenced the beauty standard. Then when you influence the beauty standard and the women change the hair, then you complain about the hair that they changed it to. You need to pick a struggle. Like I said, I believe that if you see 90% of, our women wearing the hair, natural hair, you guys are going to continue to find a reason why you don't want to date black women. Then it's going to be like, okay, black women are changing for black men. Black men are judging black women, but I want you to love us as much as you judge us. Right? It's a way to articulate your message so that it becomes a positive message. Right? But like I said, and it's not all of you guys. Some of you guys, I really just believe you love black women and you love black hair. You love everything about black women. Some of you guys, I think that you guys are just trying to find out a reason so you guys can psychologically, internally, and externally make it seem like it's us, not you. Really, this is not just your preference, especially when it comes to melanated women of, maybe my complexion. And we're not going to act like, and I seen a clip yesterday, which I was so happy to see because I forgot to mention it. You guys have a light-skinned beauty standard. And I've seen it, my whole life growing up. I've even heard, you cute for a dark-skinned girl. Excuse me? Why can't I just be cute? Why can't I just be attractive? Why do I gotta be cute for a dark-skinned girl? And this comes from a dark-skinned man, so you have to understand the psychological role that you guys play in black women, copper-colored, heavily melanated black women's psychology. Because imagine if I wasn't a confident queen as I am, and I listened to the bogus bullcrap that y'all would say. This is why I'm compelled to speak up for my Aboriginal women who wear weaves or wear this or wear that, because it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. You're cute for a dark-skinned girl, right? Which is saying that typically dark-skinned women aren't cute. Why? Because you are following a European beauty standard. I usually don't even do my edges. I'm going to be honest with you. So don't judge me. But Dr. Umar said it himself. You men have to take responsibility, and you have to understand, like psychologically, like I said, the dark-skinned male was always uplifted. All right? The dark-skinned male's hair. The dark-skinned male was uplifted, but the dark-skinned woman was not uplifted. And you got your light-skinned era, right? The light-skinned woman has always been put on a pedestal, and that goes to slavery. So if you want these people that I only date light-skinned women and that's my preference, why is that your, like I said earlier, how, what, when, where, how, why, etc., right? Why is that your preference? because you're perpetuating a beauty standard that stemmed from the plantation. Plain and simple. I'm not saying that I haven't been guilty of it as well, right? But it's understanding that you have been guilty of it and breaking that cycle, right? We all beautiful. Black men, dark skin, light skin, don't matter, right? I prefer. I don't typically have a preference. I'm gonna be honest with you. Especially when I get to know your personality, I could be just attracted. I'm a basketball player too, so I could just be attracted to you because you are very good on the basketball court. Right? You have some intellect and you can teach me something, I could be attracted to you. My point in coming back though is to say you guys have created a standard and you guys have aided in the psychological confusion of our community, black men. And it's time to start calling the shit out if we are going to grow and we are going to rise, right? Just like the light skinned men is soft, and I don't even know if that came from light skin or black women or if that came from men. I don't know where that came from. But we have to stop perpetuating uh, the psychological confusion within our communities and start uplifting each other. We need to love each other like we judge each other. And that's all I got to say, for real. And stop thinking that the grass is greener on the other side and then want us to come outside when you get on the live. Because it's not happening. It's not happening. Right? We are getting a little bit wiser, more wiser with our emotions. And we are going to love who loves us. And if you don't, then you don't. Be gone. Understand the part that you're playing in this European society that you keep claiming that black women are playing in. That's all I have to say as I finish my hair. Okay? My natural hair journey. Period.